Good afternoon, Marty.
Hey, Jason, how are
How are
you?
you today? I'm not too bad today. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I love your background. Like it's the nostalgia of like my past. Like when I think about the Brady Bunch, I love the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, well, somebody was sending this around on the weekend, and I thought that's kind of cool. I'm going to grab it because
Well, it's kind of what we look like on the Zoom group meetings, right? When we're all
yeah,
stacked on top of each other, it's like the Brady Bunch.
that's what it was. Yeah, exactly. People
Yeah.
people were laughing at that again. I suppose lots of people don't know what the Brady Bunch is. And
No, there'd be lots of people that wouldn't, right?
these were like the everyone was in love with these kids, weren't they?
Yep.
Who was your first crush? Him?
I'm not going to tell.
Okay, that's safe. You're probably too young.
Oh, I'm older than you think. I just have
So I have on my
thick
desk
skin.
this rock. It
See,
sits
what
on
I
my
have
desk.
today is I have sand.
This rock sits on my desk all the time. And I've been really clutching it this week or been holding it lots, squishing it. It doesn't squish very good.
No, no.
It's
See, that's interesting. See, I have sand, and my sand, this is kinetic sand. I love kinetic sand. And for kids that are ever spending any time with me, love kinetic sand as well. It's very pliable. So like you can squish your rock and it really doesn't go anywhere. The kinetic sand, you can do lots with it. It's very bendable.
and you know what? I like these rocks because when things are kind of crazy and wild, I can squeeze them and they don't nothing happens. So they stay firm,
Mm.
consistent, and it's always the same. So this is the one thing that's always the same, and it just feels comforting to be able to do that.
Hmm. See,
But
and with the sand, I feel like it's very satisfying because this actually regulates me. Like it can become very um, satisfying. Like the touch of it, the pliability of it makes it feel like anything is possible.
you know that's interesting because these rocks are always often grounding for me, right? So it's something I can hold that kind of makes just bring me back to sort of solid ground. But I'm really squishing it hard. I don't know. It's
Mm.
funny. It's not regulating me anymore because I think things are so out of control that the things that used to work or the things that we used to be in control of
Yeah.
have changed so much that I'm not finding the same grounding that I used to have.
You're right. Like things have changed at a pretty rapid pace, right? Pretty drastically. Our routines, our everyday has been kind of flipped upside down. And now everything, we're either relearning or reconfiguring or recalibrating our day to day. And so actually, this whole rock and sand really brings me to a whole kind of thought around what we're dealing with within our families, our communities, our province, our country, our entire world, right? When we think about the COVID-19 pandemic, we really could use the rock and the sand as an analogy about how we're managing or how we're we're coping or dealing with the pandemic. So if you think about your rock, tell me a little bit about it when you've got it in your hand. Like you said, it's
Well, I think it's interesting, right? A colleague sent this to us, so it's kind of our idea, but not really. It just really fit into how we're feeling. But the rock really represents those things that we can control, right?
mhm,
And those things we can't control, like what other people do or what other people say, or the fact that schools and we have to stay in the house, the fact that I can't go out to a restaurant and meet with my colleagues,
mhm,
I don't have any control over anymore. Those things that were the rock that were consistent that could happen all the time they're not able to happen anymore.
And I think you're right. Like, I think when we think about this pandemic and what we're all experiencing individually as well as collectively, it really leaves us worried and anxious and often kind of scared of the unpredictability of what's next, right? We've talked before about even grief, whether it's a loss of what was, or that, anticipatory anxiety or grief around, we don't know what's next. And so, like you said, the rock is sort of those things you can't change. And if you flip that on the other side, we could think about the sand and its pliability and its bendability and ability to like reshape and, make new, is those things that we can control. So believe it or not, despite feeling like we have really like a lack of control over lots of things that are going on in our world, in our life, in our day-to-day, we do have things that we can control, right? So if we think about what we can reshape or reconfigure or control, is what we think ultimately, right? We're in control of what we think. We're in control of what we say. We continue, despite all of this, are in control of what we choose to do, right? Like the way we treat others, the way we treat ourselves, our attitude, we can control. We can control like our hand washing. Like, we can't control the illness, but we can control the things we do, like, our hygiene and our hand washing and our social and physical distancing, we can control. The amount of exercise we get, or what we eat, right? Our connections that we make and how we make them. Like, it's different, obviously, but we can stay connected in different ways now. And those are things that, even though we've lost a lot of control, we can control. So it's like the sand, we can reshape the way we do or think about things, because that's what we can control right now. And so it gives us some comfort maybe in thinking about what we can control instead of focusing on the rocks and the things that we can't control right now.
So I guess I need to, well, I can't go out and buy Play-Doh or kinetic sand. I better learn how to make some and throw the rock away, right?
Well, I don't want you to throw the rock away right yet, Jason, because it really brings me to thinking of how we could transform that rock, that thing that we can't control, because we're going to set it down. We're not going to throw the rock, because that would be dangerous, first of all, and we can maybe think about how we can change that rock using a powerful thing that we do have control over, which is gratitude. And so I think I'm going to leave this as a surprise. Hang on to your rock. If you don't have a rock, find a rock, dig in the snow and see if you can find a rock. Because on Friday, we're going to end our week with something around gratitude and a stone. And I think then that would be taking those things that we can't control and reshaping them into something that will help us cope with all of the things that are to come. Because I think what we need to remember is we are in this together. Mm-hmm. We need to take a deep breath, and we need to believe that we're going to get through this. We are going to come to days that are more familiar at some point. We don't know how long that's going to take, but I believe that we're going to be okay, and we're going to get through this together.
Okay, sounds good. I'll put this away for now, and we'll see what comes up later on in the week. Awesome.
Okay, Jason, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.